right, so I'm just, okay, let me introduce myself. I'm Kathianne Lewis. I'm a minister here. My pronouns are she and her. And I'm kind of like it was good first service, but I guess it was just warming up, huh? Woo! Few things to say. A lot of things to say because it's Easter and people probably want an Easter talk. Yeah, well, let me explain why you may not get that. Because we are a synthesis of the discoveries of science, the opinions of philosophy, and the revelations of religion. And when all those come together in a convergence, there's probably something that's converging it. And so when truth or something keeps showing up over and over again, we follow that. And I was a geek. I studied world religions and mythology as soon as I found out that there was such a thing. Let's bless libraries. Oh, yeah. Let's bless libraries. And let's keep them open because, whoa, from my Christian background, it's like, but these are sort of like similar at the heart. There's something going on, like, but that cannot be. But it was. And so I'm so grateful that I found a place that took knowledge and it's actually, there's a word for it. You can look this up, perennial philosophy. And it's the golden thread that runs through a lot of traditions. So if you want to do your own study on it, well, that's what we teach. And we completed our story about the one, and it's a really good story. There's a lot of juice in the story about Jesus, but we've completed that on Good Friday. And now we're moving ahead, and we're getting our pagan on. And because Easter, really, before it was adopted by Christianity, was a fertility celebration. And it dated back, hundreds, maybe thousands of years before the man Joshua or Yeshua or Jesus made his appearance on earth. And like a lot of pagan holidays, a lot of the essence of that was incorporated into Christian traditions. For instance, they didn't have Christmas trees in the Holy Land. Just saying. Nor bunnies and eggs. And actually, it was a fertility celebration. Estra, it was in celebration of the goddess Estra, which is where we get estrogen, and bunnies and eggs. So some things stayed with us. And you know what? Why not? There's so much to learn from spring. There's so much to learn and be inspired by when it comes to spring, because spring is the time when the earth starts to warm up and what had been dormant is no longer dormant. It starts to come to life. And the earth wakes up. Now we don't live that high above Puget Sound, but we're still coming to life. But I notice if I walk around here, things are popping up and coming to life. Alive. They're waking up. Now just to think about this. The earth wakes up, and two great spiritual teachers that walk the earth talked about waking up. In the Gospel according to Thomas, that was not canonized by the church as it evolved, and if you read it, you'll know why. Jesus is reported to have said that I have come to earth to wake people up because they're asleep. In fact, they're having nightmares. And Buddha, when he was asked, what are you? Because he was just his presence, people knew there was something different about him. When he was asked, what are you? Are you a god? No. Are you an avatar? No. Are you a great sage? No. What are you? I'm awake. Maybe that's all it takes. Maybe it's just what it takes. So This is my thing about spiritual evolution. I think we're evolving out of what has been a really big thing recently, which is manifestation. How many of you have heard of manifestation? How many of you have been encouraged to manifest? And how many of you have seen that there's programs to manifest? That can happen, and I'm not against it. But I'm not sure that it always brings us into a sense of contentment. Because if you have to have stuff to be content, you'll always need more stuff to be content. And contentment is of the soul. However, when I'm living out of who I really am, then the stuff that it takes for me to be more of who I am will start to show up to support who you've become. So I'm not against anything. I don't have a long list. I only want one thing, which is a cutting horse. Google it. And when I am sure I won't fall off. Have you seen a cutting horse? Yeah. Oh, you'd have to see it to understand. Yeah. Yeah. When I know that I won't fall off, the horse will show up. I know that. That's how manifestation can work. And so this brings me to the second stage of this spiritual evolution, because we went through manifestation so that we could see that there is a correlation between what we think and what happens. We needed to know that. But then the next stage is just becoming and growing into who you were meant to be, to grow into who you were meant to be. So I'm reminded of Meister Eckhart, who was a Christian saint, Christian mystic, way ahead of his time. And what he said was that the seed of a pear tree grows into a pear tree. The seed of the pear tree grows into a pear tree. The seed of God grows into God, and we're all seeded with that seed. Are we letting it grow? Are we letting it flourish? Are we bearing fruit? So it's not just about our life, but its life gets better for everybody, because the trees don't produce fruit for themselves. You know, roses don't go, ooh, goody, look at my rose. They say, look at the seeds that I'm planting so there can be more roses. That's what growing in our spiritual awareness can do for all of us. Another way to say the whole seed thing is, in the beginning was the Word. In the beginning was the Word. Who's heard that before? Some of you. Great. And so those of you that brought your Bibles, share with someone else. The first chapter of John. In the beginning was the Word. It's from the Gospel of John. And the Gospel of John was written in common everyday Greek, not classical Greek, but in the spoken language that was spoken in the area around the Mediterranean. It was the common language of the Eastern Roman Empire. They spoke Greek. John was written at least 120 years after Jesus died, and so there's all sorts of other elements in there. And whoever wrote John, which was probably not John because I think he was dead by then, had a very good reason for saying at the very beginning, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was with God, and the Word became flesh. That in itself is our talk. It sounds a lot like the the Egyptian mythology about Ptah, because Ptah was the god that was told to create, and he created by speaking creation into existence. Now, what did John mean when he said, in the beginning was the Word? Well, the word that he used, that we translate as word, it's different than word, it's logos. And logos in Greek philosophy, this is so good, is a principle that orders the universe. Logos is a principle. What became flesh? A principle. It's also the hidden constant behind constant change. It's also intelligent energy. That's what logos is. From the Jewish philosophy, because the Jews had philosophy as well, they also use the word logos, and it was the instrument of creation. The instrument of creation, the intelligence of the universe, the principle that orders all things became flesh. Whoa. That's what he's saying. And then he went on to say, or at least allude to the fact that what became flesh was the Yahshua ben Joseph. And people have, if you interpret it that way, that means Jesus is special. Could you get me my phone? That Jesus is special. Well, I'm going to tell you what I think about Jesus, because everybody tells you what they think about Jesus. You ask anybody, what do you think about Jesus? They go on. So let me just cut to the chase. I believe he was a spiritual prodigy, that he understood things that even some of his peers, not peers, but Jewish philosophers and Jewish leaders couldn't quite understand. That's why he was teaching at 12. And that seems like, wow, he was really in there. He must have been the only Son of God. Well, he also said, Amin, Amin, I'm the Son of Man, which was an Aramaic idiom for, I'm just a guy, just like you. But what if he incarnated to understand the principle, I love it, the principles of the universe in such a way that he just embodied those principles of the universe? And we have prodigies all the time. They show up in different ways. I asked Jake if he was he started playing the piano at 3, and he didn't. He didn't until he was like 11. And then he said he didn't even play well. This is first service. So I couldn't use him as an example, but we've heard of musical prodigies, right? But I'm not too musical, but I'm really into fashion. So, how many of you have heard of Max Alexander? A few of you. He's 10 years old now, and he's the youngest designer to show a collection in the Paris Fashion Week. At 3 years old, he told his parents, I'm going to be a fashion designer. I'm going to create clothes. And they bought him a sewing machine. He had his first official show at 4. He's now into sustainable clothing. So he gets clothing that's going to be thrown away, and he has a fashion show in Paris. And if you've seen his works, they're not childlike. They are amazing. So if someone can be born to say, I am the Word made flesh, and that word is creativity, give me fabric. Why couldn't someone say, I am the Word made flesh, and that word is intelligence or wisdom or healing or life, and it became. See, if we keep Jesus as the exception, we never live up to our logos. We never live up to the seed that's in us, because he's Jesus. So are you. I'm just Kathianne. I'm Kathianne. Do you see the difference? Instead of I'm Kathianne. Thank you for giggling. Actually, it was Martin Luther, not the king. Martin Luther, who said, the surest sign of the presence of God is joy. So why aren't we laughing more and being serious less? If we would stop taking religion so seriously, we'd get the principle and move on and start living and bearing fruit and making the world a better place. So, even though I'd love for you to come back, I'm not going to lie, because you'd know I was lying. If what you get today allows you to know that you're finished with trying to be better, then you'd only come back for the joy of it. And that would be my prayer. Maybe that will be your Easter egg. So why aren't we, doing what Jesus did? He said, greater things than these you shall do also, but if we're going to take him seriously, why not? And I think it's probably because we just don't have the conditions that are right. Like a seed needs the conditions to be right to become what it needs to become. And we were not raised by a mother and a father that kept saying, you know what, God's got great plans for you. You know that story about they heard angels? Angels are high thought. What if they had high thoughts about this child is going to be amazing? But they told the child all the time, you're going to be amazing. My mama never told me that. My mama never told me that. Now, I'm not saying she was bad. I'm just saying she never said, God's got plans for you. Well, she had plans for me, and she told me her plans for me. Be a secretary or be a bookkeeper. Yeah, I know. Luckily, I just, So let's go with the seed allegory. The conditions have to be right. For instance, many of us experienced a drought of love and confirmation. A drought of love and confirmation. And sometimes there was love but no confirmation. Like confirming what my mother had said, Kathianne, you can be anything you want to be. If you want to be an artist, you'll be an artist. If you got a gift of gab, I think you could use it. You got it from your father. You didn't get it from me. But I don't think, for me. So the seed sort of sat for a while. There was also, some people have had hard surface, circumstances. It's hard for a seed to grow roots when it's all hard ground. Like, honestly, some people have had really hard upbringings. And some people have had no light. And light in metaphor and dream analysis and in spiritual books. Light means truth and understanding. And so if the seed is to survive, it needs to have those things made available to it. And we're the one that needs to decide to do that. We're the one that needs to decide to do that. See, we can overcome anything. You'll notice a dandelion behind me. Those of you online will notice the dandelion. The dandelion didn't have it easy. Did it have it easy? I mean, have you noticed that you lay pavement or sidewalks or anything, you get it all cleared out, and then the dandelion comes up and goes, ta-da! Little yellow head. And then it creates a little crown for itself with lots of seeds, and it says, go, little dandelion. We talk ourselves out of it because we believe what's going on. We don't understand that what's going on went on, but it needs to not go on forever. We're the one that gets to pick and choose how we will nurture the logos, nurture the seed. So we shower ourselves with love. God as me is lovable. Say that. God as me is lovable. Not when I'm right, not when I'm, I should have said all right, not when people are pleased with me, because guess what? There will not be people pleased with you, probably every day. But if you're lovable, you just say, oh, honey, so you're missing out. To yourself. You bless your hard circumstances by saying this may be a fact, but what's inside of me is greater than what's outside of me. What's inside of me is greater than what's outside of me. If a dandelion can rise above cement, I can rise above this condition. What are the stories we love? What makes a good movie? It's not some person that was all handed to them. No. We love the movie when somebody finds something within them and they just break out anyway. Woo! Little dandelion consciousness. And 3, pay attention to people that say that you are a unique expression of divine life and you have a right to shine, that you have a right to grow, and that there's something that the world needs from you. Hang out with those people, read those books. And not do this to be better, not do this to be manifest. You will manifest if you know who you are. Jesus had no problem healing people. He had no problem feeding people because he knew who he was and he knew the source living through him. And that's not special. That's expected by the universe. But I want you to start expecting it yourself. Oh, beloveds. And I'm saying this to myself too. Use me. Because the world needs to be reminded that we really are one together. And what we do to anyone, we do to everyone, including ourselves. The world needs that. We need to wake up and be the dandelion spreading those seeds everywhere. But first you got to break through your circumstances. And I can't, and it's only me. And there's no time. I wonder what class I should take. Take every class, but only to the joy of remembering. See, whatever your background, whatever you have, whatever you think you're stuck with. How many of you think you're stuck with something? God bless you. Raise your hand. You can be healed. Who thinks they're stuck? You know, you wish you had been different, but, you know, I can't change because this is going on. Who you are and what you are, listen, from this point on can be a decision. When I read John, I noticed that there were some turning points in the life of Jesus where the circumstances and the things going on, he could have said, little old me can't do this. Choice by choice, he lived from the logos that was living him. Choice by choice, he cultivated the seed that would create a great world religion. Choice by choice, we get to pick not only who we are, but the world we are reshaping together. And here's a song to help you with that.
I'm not the wound, I'm not the fall, not the silence, not the fall. I'm not the night they couldn't see. I'm the best me rising free. I'm not what happened to me. I'm what I choose to be. Each step I take, I shift, I rise. The past dissolves before my eyes. Not the mark, I am more than what went dark. I hold the sun behind my skin. I plant the truth and grow within. I'm not what happened to me. I'm what I choose to be. Each step I take, I shift, I rise. I'm not what happened to me. I'm what I choose to be. Each step I take, I shift, I rise. The past dissolves before my eyes.
Because of circumstances, sometimes we've wanted to numb out. So in the past, we may have been addicted to substances, to processes, to needing attention, to being validated. But you know, that was the past. And this is the eternal now. And it's been said we can only know God and know ourselves in this now moment. So in this now moment, you get to choose who you are when you leave this room. You get to choose who you are on Monday and Tuesday. You get to choose. That's sovereignty. You are the sovereign of the kingdom of heaven that is within you, and you choose. And some of you didn't have parents that were saying, boy, you can do this, you can do this. Oh man, you're a wonderful expression of God. Some of you may not have had that. I mean, they weren't wrong, but they didn't know. But guess what? You can say, I am the beloved, in which the universe is well pleased, and I'm going to act like it. You get to choose. There's a phrase in here that's so wonderful. When I am what I choose to be, each step, take, and shift, I rise. The past dissolves before my eyes. This is the thing. You choose and then you act. So don't leave it here. So, what is it you want? What is it you see the world needs? And maybe you're the seed of what the world needs.
I'm not what happened to me. I'm what I choose to be. Each step I take, I shift, I rise. The past dissolves before my eyes. I'm not what happened to me. I'm what I choose to be. Each step I take, I shift, I rise. The past dissolves before my eyes. I'm not what happened to me. I'm what I choose to be. Each step I take, I shift, I rise. The past dissolves before my eyes.
And so I bless each choice that has been made. I bless the choice. I bless the stand to be what we decided to be before this incarnation. That we allow the Word of God to be made flesh as us, the Logos, the intelligence of the universe to be made flesh as us. We choose because in each moment is a moment of recreation. And so I bless every decision, I bless every thought, I bless every person in this room. All I am doing is being in agreement with whatever's going on in the human heart. Whether it's in this room or watching online or we'll watch later, I am in agreement with it, for if it expresses more life and harms no one, including the person themselves, then it is God's will for us, and I will to will the will of God. Do you will to will the will of God? Then you're blessed, and so it is.